team, Mark, that's something different, I think, slightly different. I mean, you have some big people in the past on the perimeter. They're really tall.
Yeah, we have some length on the perimeter, you know, especially with 6'11", Grant Nelson. We got Jaron Stevenson, 6'10", on the perimeter. You know, we're going to be a problem on the perimeter this year.
What did you try to do special this summer to be a better player? Was it different from the prior summers?
Well, I say just practicing leadership, you know, being more vocal. You know, last year I wasn't vocal on the team, but this year, you know, I'm really prioritizing myself to be more vocal.
Is that difficult for you?
I say it's not, because we really love doing something. It kind of comes natural, and I feel like that's just me getting out of my comfort zone.
What's that East Coast player, Aaron Estrada, what does he bring to the team?
Toughness, an everyday guy, a bucket getter, and a great teammate.
Anything's going to surprise? How is Alabama going to surprise the basketball world this year? What do you think they might do? What's something that might happen for them?
I say our identity, you know, blue collar, playing, never taking plays off, and how our style of play, get a lot of threes, and you know, I think we're going to be very exciting, and I think we're going to rise to the occasion this year.
Did you play against Ohio State at all prior?
I did not. I did not play against
So not to dismiss anybody else, but that game's kind of a little bit special for you, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be very special, because you know I was an hour away from them when I was at Ohio.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, you kind of flirted with maybe going to the NBA draft this past season. What are some of the reasons you decided to stick around and touch base?
I wanted to get my degree. You know, I'll be graduating this coming up May, and you know, I wanted to get past that hump of the Sweet 16. You know, I felt like we were just so close to just getting to the national championship game, and I feel like with this year's team and the staff that we got, I feel like we have a great chance of getting past that hump.
Looking back to, you know, when you were a kid growing up in Muscle Shoals or Muscle Shoals High School, you know, what's your hometown mean to you? What did it mean last year to bring a conference championship to Muscle Shoals, and what's it like to represent the state of Alabama?
It means a lot, you know, especially being from Alabama when I was little. You know, always dreaming of being in the position that I am in today. You know, it's something I never take for granted. It's a blessing to be able to do what I'm doing right now.
This year, you kind of bring in a veteran role after last year. You're kind of the new guy now that you got younger guys looking up to you. What's that new role that you have like this year?
Well, being more vocal, you know, I've been in the big time games, been a part of a very successful group, and that's me carrying that over to this year's team.
Mark, is the roster overgone turnover did? Guys are in the NBA, guys are going to portal. Obviously, you were inserted in the draft as well, but what was it like kind of sitting back and seeing just such change, and how much were you talking to other guys on the team?
You know, a lot had happened in that when everybody went in the draft. You know, it was a cool moment to experience being around the NBA players and the pros, and just how they carry themselves on and off the court. And you know, it was very shocking to see how many people we had left this offseason. But you know, Coach Oates does a great job of reloading the talent, and that's what he did this year.
I asked Coach Oates over there, I said, you know, you guys are middle of the pack, voted by the media. He goes, oh, what were we last year? Middle of the pack, what happened? We won the SEC. Do you like that little edge she's got there?
Yeah, I like that, because, you know, we take on Coach's personality as a whole team. You know, we have that fire in ourselves too. So, you know, it's cool to be recognized at that level. So.
And you know what a #1 team looks like. Does this team have that makeup?
Yes, we have the capabilities of doing that. You know, we're obviously it's October now, and we want to play our best basketball come March.
The front court obviously is a part that's overgone a lot of change. What have you seen from that group defensively, and kind of things that they can do for this team?
You know, we got a great lob threat in Nick Pringle. You know, we got Mo Magoo. You know, he's coming back, and he's starting to get ready to practice with us. And I say we're going to be really, really talented in the front court too. You know, we got Jaron Stevenson and Grant Nelson that also can play down there, but he's not going to be down there that much. But I know I say we're pretty good in the front court as well.
What were your impressions of Coach Bernard?
He knows a lot about the game of basketball, and he's a player. You know, that's someone you want to be around all the time, just to pick his brain about the game of basketball.
I know he's a pretty big basketball junkie. What's he like in meetings?
In meetings, you know, he always he tells us about how the NBA, if you were to do this in the NBA, they would like it's not acceptable. And, you know, he really just pours us knowledge and on about that next level.
About being a professional?
Yeah, about being a professional.
You guys were picked 5th in this conference. That's no surprise. It's happened a handful of times. Do you guys use that as motivation or fuel, or could you care less?
Oh, for most definitely. You know, last year, you know, I'm pretty sure it was ranked around there last year, and we had a great turnout. So I mean, we're definitely using this as fuel to the fire.
And then we're just talking to Aaron over there. He seems like a really high energy guy. Coach was gushing about him earlier up at the podium. How good is he for fans that haven't had an opportunity to watch him play?
He's an all SEC type of guard. You know, everybody, y'all, when we start, y'all see it's gonna be all SEC
played
guard.
with Griffin last year. I understand he's grown a little bit. What are you seeing from Wilder?
He's gotten more explosive. You know, he was already explosive, but he's even more explosive, and he's going to be a really exciting player watching this season. Breakout type of season for him.
Coach was talking about more of a by-committee approach in terms of Brandon just scoring and what he did for you guys offensively. How do you kind of view what you guys are going to do offensively without Brandon this year?
Brandon was a very great offensive player, and I say this year Coach did a great job recruiting this team, and I say we all can do well, and we all play well off each other, and everybody does something great that can contribute to the team.
When you think back to your process going from Ohio to what was it about Coach Oates that you kind of gravitated to him and him towards you, and what was the deciding factor in coming to the process?
I say his system, his system works, with all the success he had up here, it's a no-brainer, He prepares his players well to play in the NBA, and, that's, as a recruit, that's something where you want to be in a successful situation that can lead you to success later on.
Mark, what did you add? Did you add anything to your game this offseason? Or did you work on any weaknesses in the strength or your strengths?
I just continued to work on my ball handling and finishing. I just wanted to just strengthen those areas, not just be a knockdown shooter, just when teams try to run me off the line, being able to create for others. And one main thing I say is defense. I really want to, I'm taking that to heart this year, and I want to be an all-SEC type of defender this year.
Grant Nelson coming in from North Dakota State. Not a lot of people have watched him play. Coach said he's an NBA talent. What's it been like going against him in practice? And you've been around some NBA caliber players before. Do you feel like he could make that next step?
Oh, most definitely. Super talented. 6'11", can do it all, 1 through 5. And there's not too many players like him out there in college basketball right now. You'll see when the season starts.
We all saw that dunk, that viral dunk, where he kind of looked like Gumby up there. I mean, what's one thing about his game that people are going to be impressed when they watch him play?
Every time he drives, he's trying to dunk on somebody. He doesn't dunk. He's trying to break the rim. So he drives with force.
We talked to Aaron, and he said you guys started building your chemistry off the court. Talk about you guys maybe as a backcourt this year, and how your chemistry is right now.
We're constantly over each other's houses, hanging out with each other, playing 2K. We have a great chemistry on and off the court. That really is gonna help us this year. Especially when times get tough and a lot of obstacles are coming towards us, and we'll have that bond to really lean on each other.
Mark, besides you and Aaron, who else has been filling it up behind the arc this year in practice?
Latrell Ricel, Rylan Griffin, Grant Nelson, Jaron Stevenson, and I can go on. The list can continue.
How surprised were you when Javon Quinterly decided to enter the transfer portal? Was that a guy that you expected to be back here next year?
Yeah, that's my guy. I expected him to be back, but everything happened for a reason. He just seen something better, and he just went that direction.
And can you describe Aaron Brown's game for us? How would you describe it as you played with him?
I say everyday guy, blue collar type of player. Hard nosed, great defender, and also a bucket getter.
You're the best shooter on the team last year. Coach said you got even better at shooting. Do you feel like you can shoot even better than you did last year?
I do. Constantly working on my shot. It's a confidence thing. Once you get a lot of reps up, you see it go through the net, and you have no choice but to believe in yourself.
Being a leader on this team, you see the new players on this roster, you see the new coaching staff. What do you see as this team's greatest challenge coming into this season?
I say fighting through adversity. When things are going the right way, we got to lean together on one another and fight through it.
So you've been playing some 2K. When you make your My Career player, do you kind of resemble it off yourself, or do you go big?
You know, I try to go big. You know, like a unicorn type of player that can do it all. You know, that's kind of the wave around now these days.
How much do you still talk to guys like Brandon Miller, like Clowney, that are in the next level? Because I know one day you want to be in that position. What's it been like to see them go through that process?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, to see being as my teammate now, they're accomplishing their dreams. You know, I'm so proud of them, and you know, it's great to see that they're having so much success.
Aaron was saying when Coach Oates reached out to him in the portal, he didn't just talk about things they could do here at the collegiate level. He talked about getting them to the league in that next step. In your career, what has Coach Oates talked about to maybe that you could one day be in that position as well?
Same way, just how like defense, defense first. You know, offense is not really going to get you there because they're in the league. They're going to have about 3 guys that can go get their own. So basically, like being a janitor, you know, doing things is nobody wants to do, and that's what will get you there.
Mark, with Charles gone, who could protect the rim for y'all this year?
I say Nick Pringle, Jaron Stevenson, and Grant Nelson has the ability to protect the rim, and Mo could do.
What's the ceiling for Pringle?
Can you say that again?
What's the ceiling for Pringle?
Very high ceiling. You know, he's a guy that finished, I want to say, 85% at the rim last year. A lob threat. Someone, you know, coming off the pick and roll, getting downhill, that option's going to be there because he can jump out the gym. You know, wherever I throw it, he's pretty much going to get it.
You talked about your relationship with Pannone. What about with Austin Claunch and Preston Murphy, the other new coaches? How have they kind of assimilated into the culture, and what has that been like?
They're very energetic, you know, players, coaches, you know, someone you always want to be around, you know, even when times aren't going good, because they know how to build a relationship with the players.
What are kind of the differences between this year's staff and last year's with 3 new assistants?
I say, I wouldn't say there's a difference. I would say just players, coaches, you know, they care for us and want us to get better, and they're, yeah, that's about it.
Y'all's motto #is blue collar basketball. What does that mean to you, and how are you guys implementing that this season?
I say that means max effort, continuous growth, and selfless love. You know, once you have put all that together, it really describes the way we play.
You talked about Rylan Griffin a little bit already, but kind of he looked like a guy who showed a lot of flashes last year. How good can he be this year?
The ceiling is very high for him. A breakout season type of year for him. You know, he's gotten so much better in the way he approaches the game. You know, as a sophomore, he looks the part.
Who are some of the guys on this team that are maybe on the underrated side that people aren't talking much about that can make a big impact?
I'd say Trail Rice, you know, a guy that works very, very hard, and he's very talented as well, and blue collar type, and very, very good on defense and can shoot the cover off the ball.
How would you describe your experience since you've transferred back home to the University of Alabama from Ohio?
It's been an unbelievable experience. You know, coming here and first year here, being able to do what we did last year is like basically like a big dream. You know, just being able to want to continue that success this year.
And when you and Coach Oates kind of met after the season and you decided to come back, what was when you guys put your heads together, what's the biggest thing you're going to work on in your game to try to get to the next level?
Well, I would say defense, you know, really buying in on being an everyday defender, you know, just constantly taking my defense to the next level.
Defense has been, Oates talked about how defense has kind of been the calling card of some of Alabama's best teams. Lost a lot of good defenders from last year. How do you feel about the way this team sets up defensively, maybe compared to last year?
I say we like you said earlier, we have a lot of length. You know, once we play defense and use our length that we have, you know, offense would be very easy because all of us can put the ball in the basket.
Mark, I'm going to ask you a bit of a fun question. If you weren't playing basketball, what sport would you want to play and why?
I'll be playing football right now, probably a cornerback at the University of Alabama. You know, I had a very rich family background of playing professional sports. You know, I had an uncle that played at Auburn University, and you know, I would be playing football right now.
What kind of feedback did you get from the NBA and talking about the things that you needed to work on to get to that level?
I say just basically an everyday defender. You know, someone that's going to be a pest on the ball, causing havoc on the ball. You know, just really that area. That's really what I want to show.
You talked about how you wanted to kind of instill that defensive mindset. Is the NBA feedback kind of what's fueling that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Mark, what have you seen from Nick Creed in practice this year, as opposed to the improvement from last year?
Very energetic. You know, it's basically the same player, but he's gotten better with his leadership. You know, sets great screens, and he's a team guy. And one thing, his passing is off the charts. You know, he can really pass the ball, and we're going to see that this year from him.
Last question, anything?